stupid. Like,
all right.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Off Topic with Kadeem and Doug, and we have our first guest, longtime friend of the show. This is Jenna. How are you doing today, Jenna?
I'm good.
And how are you doing, Doug?
Doing good, Jenna. Welcome to the show. Happy to have you on. Obviously, we're expecting some fun theories out of you tonight. Hopefully, you're having a good night.
Thanks. Happy to be on your show. I feel like you guys are gonna hate my theories as always.
I'm excited for them.
You are probably our most outlandish conspiracy theorist that we know, so these should be interesting. I'm excited too. I'm very excited. Kadeem, before we get into all this, before we let Jenna really take over, what have you been up to this week?
Got a car. That was about it. Just chilling, getting ready to eat tomorrow. Big holiday. What about you?
Not too much. Just busy week at work. Really physical week at work. Kind of sucked. Came home freaking covered in dust every day. I'm coring out these holes in this concrete, and it's just time-consuming, very physical. But other than that, not too bad. Jenna, what have you been up to this week? Kadeem mentioned car. Do you not have something similar?
I also just got a new car today.
Oh, let's go.
The reason for getting a new car was not the best, but glad it worked out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. A little behind the scenes, guys. We were going to have our first episode, but Jenna had some car trouble. Or our first guest last week, but Jenna had some car trouble. So here we are now. Everything's going the right direction. Glad you got that solved, Jenna. Kadeem, you got anything else before we really let Jenna take over and get into these theories?
No, let's dig in. Let's hit us with them.
All right, Jenna. Good luck, and let's hear them.
All right, my first one, probably going to be one that you guys have heard. And I feel like it's a really common one, and some people might really believe this. I think I might believe this, actually. No, I will. I'll say that I do believe it. I do believe it.
Okay.
The fake moon landings.
Okay.
My part.
Okay.
So, like 1969 moon landings.
Mm-hmm.
It's said that there's been documents released by hackers, or there's many stories behind how they were released or seen. But the alleged documents kind of say that it was all CGI and green screen, and it's kind of all scripted. And the reason that the said footage was made was to trick other countries into believing that the U.S. has more technology than it did at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think? Do you believe that we went to the moon or no?
Kadeem, you can go first. Go ahead.
So this is one where I think we went, but the reasoning behind it is solid enough. Because I think at this point we were like in the Cold War, and we're having this, basically rocket race with Russia. So if the idea is we're basically bluffing and showing Russia like, hey, we got here first, we're top dogs, that there's at least some motivation behind that, or some logical motivation behind that. With that being said, I do think we would. What about you, Doug?
I maintain that we went to the moon. I guess my question would be to Jenna, what about, has there ever been evidence from, Russia or other countries that have attempted space missions? Russia was orbiting the moon before we ever got there. Mm-hmm. Russia had sent up Sputnik and done all that other stuff before we ever got to the moon. How come it's only, America that's the big conspiracy of going to space and doing these things? Isn't that odd to people that it's just only in America we didn't go to the moon when other places were already making those kind of trips and things like that? It's always centered around America, and that's kind of my problem with it. When other countries were doing very similar missions at the time. What are your thoughts, Jen, on that?
No, that's a good point. I could see that, but I don't know. I think maybe I believe more that what we saw when we went to the moon, or how the trip actually went when we went to the moon, was just not maybe how we know it, or how they told us that it went.
So
maybe they just didn't disclose everything that they have found at the moon to us.
So let me ask this. Do you think we've ever been to the moon, or just like that first trip in '69 was kind of a bluff?
I think just the first one. I think that we've
Okay.
been there at this point.
That's one of the most reasonable and believable.
Like the
Yeah.
whole, like the flag waving when
hmm
there's no air at the moon. Like it does kind of seem like it could be faked.
I did a little research because I had an idea that you were going to bring this up. To be fair to your theory, CGI and everything was invented in 1958, so there was use of CGI before this. So, there is a possibility that it could have been done that way. I just find it hard to believe the space race and everything just was not real. Because to me, in my mind, space exploration is like one of the coolest things possible. There's just been so much built up on space exploration, and this is kind of where it really all started. Us, Russia, fighting, or not fighting, but racing to the moon, putting satellites in orbit, doing all these things was like such an important thing in that time period. But then to support you, like, yes, it was so important. It gave us like a reach to the stars. They could have just used all that propaganda to make money, to build nationalistic pride, things like that. So I guess it is possible. Kadeem, any extra thoughts on 1969?
No, I mean I'm cool. Like as I said, I think we went, but she's saying the first time might have been a little exaggerated, but after that we went, and there's a solid motive for it. Like this is one of the more logical conspiracy theories, I guess. This one I'm okay with.
Since we have been, and maybe even more recent, has there ever been someone to like prove the theory wrong and like take more footage of doing, kind of remaking that?
We haven't been back to the moon since. We haven't put people
Yeah,
on the moon since.
more than one person.
Or no, we did.
I thought we had.
Yeah,
Put Apollo.
I don't think we go very often because I think it's really expensive.
We haven't been back in a long time.
That's what I think. I'm pretty sure. I don't think only 2 people have walked on the moon.
No, it's more.
I just feel like they made it look so simple, maybe like in that footage. If it's so simple and they were just walking around, like, why don't we go back with the
last
technology
moon
we have
landing
now?
moon landing for the Apollo program was Apollo 17, 1972.
Okay.
That's the last time we put people to 3 years later.
I would assume there's probably not like a lot of valuable because we've got. I'm assuming the first few times we went, we got like a bunch of rocks and shit, and the moon's pretty much dead. So I just don't think there's a lot of value to keep going back because nothing's changing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair, but I think that almost does support that theory a little bit more is the fact that we never went, we only went back per se 3 years after, or like in a 3-year period. So I think that does help you a little bit. I don't know. Could you imagine, like, remember when the rocket blew up and all those people, like, could you imagine just
Challenger,
like doing that just to not go to the moon? Like, that's a lot.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, it is fucked up, but that would then have what would have happened to keep us from going to the moon. Like that, even if that's all staged, that's still fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I think that's a solid start, Jenna. It is thought provoking. I think everybody can, pick a side on this one. So I think that's a good start. Go ahead with your second theory.
Okay, my second one is about Walt Disney.
Okay.
And the movie Frozen.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
Please continue.
Okay. First of all, I had never heard this until I started looking into the theory, but I guess there's secret tunnels that are underneath Disneyland, and said secret club has access to these tunnels. So it is rumored that someone in these tunnels leaked this information, and that's how it became a theory. Walt Disney is rumored to be frozen after he died, his body, and that's supposed to be underneath Disneyland in the tunnels. And I guess his obsession with his body being frozen to one day in our technology and in the future, he wanted to be brought back to experience technology and to see how far we have came.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess there was a a photo leaked of his frozen body, and it started to get out. So there is a theory that he created, or they created the movie Frozen with that title to kind of throw off the algorithm, like the Google search algorithm. So when you search Disney and Frozen, it comes up with the movie, and all the attention on his frozen body was not popping up anymore.
Okay.
Have you guys ever heard of this? I didn't know about Walt Disney in that period, and then I heard about the movie.
Okay. So I have heard of that as the smokescreen. There's really only one thing that keeps me from buying in on this, and that's that he died in the 60s.
Yeah, it would have been Frozen back then.
Yeah, if he had died in like the 90s or the 2000s, like if we said this about Stan Lee, I would want this to be true because I love Stan Lee. But with him dying so long ago, it makes it a little hard for me. So Jenna, do you think this one could be true, or is this a fun one for
This is more of a fun one, but
Mhm.
I mean, people are pretty crazy. I wouldn't put it past them for it to not be true, I guess.
So I guess there's two different things. Do I believe, because I mean, even at the time, Disney probably would have been really rich.
Insane.
Do I believe that while he was dying, he probably just said, freeze me? Absolutely. Yeah, that's pretty believable. I don't think he's ever going to be unfrozen, if that's the case. I think he's just dead in there. But now that I think about it more, like, I was thinking more of, if it happened more recently, I would think there's a chance of it working. But
Yeah.
no, I can picture them just putting him in a big ass ice box and them saying we'll have a way to wake him up soon, and that never happening. So yeah, I might buy into that.
So, question for you, because here's the thing: I don't have a problem with this either way. Like to
Mhm.
me, him being frozen doesn't like. What's the negative to that? Like, if you're super rich,
Why hide it?
freeze yourself. Like, if you have all the money in the world, I have no problem if you want to freeze yourself and hope technology advances. Like that
Mhm.
to me doesn't really do anything. So I don't like. Do you recall like what the negative backlash was against him for them to have to make Frozen?
I did. So I think that what Kadeem said, he died in the 60s, so his body would have been frozen a long time ago. So for the relevance of it now, like, why do we care if he's just frozen down there?
Mhm.
I think people were saying that it's maybe said that they do have the technology to unfreeze someone and bring them back, and that's what they didn't want getting out when people kept searching it now. So that's why the Frozen was made and more of, I don't know, made that like a theory for in
Okay.
this time.
Okay, and that's fine too. I mean, with all of his money, and if maybe they were pouring a chunk of Disney's money into this project for all that time, and they wanted to keep that secret, maybe. I don't hate it either way. I just, at this point, if we do have the technology, why is he not back? You know,
My
Do
thing
you
is,
think they would disclose that?
well, he's Walt Disney. I mean,
Here's-
some 70, 80-year-old white racist guy is walking around Disneyland. He's not hiding. He's a distinct looking figure. Like he's recognizable if you've watched any. I'm just saying, like,
imagine,
why would we bring you back in 2023 if you're not going to be out using your legs? You know.
imagine he sees the new Little Mermaid and goes, "Put me back." It just goes in the freezer.
He's the one tweeting negative reviews about this is bullshit, not my company.
I feel like one of the things with the negative is like, I'm trying to think how somebody back in the 60s would react to hearing Walt Disney, instead of dying, froze his body to be woken up later. They'd probably think like that was some like UFO type stuff,
That's
Like,
true. That's a good point. But at
and
the
with it
same
being
time,
a family park, like, you never know. Like, people might have said like, "Oh, that's like, that's not of the Lord." Like, there's any type of shit that I can see how that would have caused negative backlash back then.
back then,
Why it would matter if it leaked now, I'm not sure. The other
well,
thing is, I feel like there are just so many people this could have been done for.
yeah, this like I feel like the frozen bodies would start to stack up.
Yeah, like
Every
Chad
rich
was like,
person who's about to die would be doing this, right?
Like Chadwick had
Maybe
cancer.
that's why they didn't want it to be leaked.
Yeah, but he would have to have more money than damn near everybody else for this to like not leak in circles.
I also kind of think if it is true, then you're right. More people, especially people with money, would be frozen. This would start to kind of almost be a trend by now, I think.
I think so.
Have you guys ever heard the baseball player Ted Williams?
Mm-mm.
They froze him.
Like, actually?
Okay, so I'm going to read this article because it kind of plays into this whole thing. Ted Williams was decapitated by surgeons at Cryonics Company, where his body is suspended in liquid nitrogen. Several samples of his DNA are missing. So it is possible to freeze a body at this point. It happened in 2002. But the reason they froze him was because they wanted to take his DNA and clone him when the technology got to the point where. Could you imagine if Ted Williams was hitting 375 today in Major League Baseball? People would freak the fuck out.
Be $1 billion player.
That's what I mean. It is possible to freeze a body.
I don't think the freezing is the issue. I think it's the unfreezing that becomes a problem. Like we probably know for a while how to just solid freeze a person, right. But how do you thaw it out in time for the body to actually work again without, I feel like either you got to cook it and the body dies, or if you thaw it too slow, none of the body's systems work. So
have you seen Star Wars lately? When they unfreeze Han out of the...
Oh, that was the carbonite, yeah. But
I know, I'm with you. Okay, so I feel good about this either way. Kadeem, what are your thoughts? Final thoughts?
Do we think Walt Disney is frozen somewhere?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll say sure he's frozen. He's never going to be unfrozen. He's still dead.
A block of ice underneath the park.
He's a Disney sickle. He's still dead. I'd go with that.
You know what would have been more funny to throw people off though, just before we move on, is if they had him frozen in some of the ice that Elsa made, just randomly. Like that would be some funny Disney shit to me, because they do little random things, little shit in their movies,
subliminal messages.
But or the word Disney etched in the ice somewhere. Like, I think that would have been cool. But, Jenna, continue with your last theory.
Okay. My last theory is...
Is it time to get loose now? Have we reached the point where we're going to get going?
Top of the roller coaster. Let's go.
I feel like Doug's going to hate this one.
Oh, great.
It's about Mars. And Mars being the original planet, and a nuclear explosion happened there, and then people escaped to planet Earth and started over here. There's an element on Mars, that xenon, and which is only found after a nuclear explosion. So there's a theory that the original planet was Mars, and there's talk now of going to Mars, or is there signs of life on Mars or anything like that? And there's a theory that that's actually the original planet, used up all the resources and everything, nuclear explosion, started over here, and it can one day happen again to Earth.
Okay.
The hardest part about this is what happened to the technology, I guess, that would have gotten us from Mars to Earth. Like, where did we restart? What caused the restart?
A nuclear explosion that wiped everything out.
No, so we get the explosion on Mars, right?
Oh, okay.
And then we were able to have the technology to get everybody from Mars to Earth and restart. And then we lose everything and go back to the Stone Age here?
Yes.
Yeah. That's really difficult to get to that level, because we talked about something similar before. It would take so much to planet bust, pretty much, and then still have the technology to restart and come back here. I don't know. That's a lot. So
this is fun for the people who want the pyramids to be built by aliens. Like that gives us, like these are for you. Smiled. Are you a pyramids aliens person?
Yeah.
For the people who
you guys talked about pyramids, and I'm the one that told Doug about that.
For the people who love, pyramids and aliens, this is fun for that because it gives like technically we could have built the pyramids, just did it differently. I would like this more if there was something on Earth that could have knocked away all our technology. Like, let's just say this had happened super, super long ago, and then the meteor that killed the dinosaurs hit, right?
Yeah.
I would like it more if there was something like that.
Right.
If that had happened, more recently. So we could say, okay, humans were here, survived the meteor, but after that, we just kind of had to start from scratch. What do you think, Doug?
I mean, this one's extremely far-fetched, unfortunately, because we just, the way technology, it would be so impossible to go back to the Stone Age if you have all the knowledge it takes to build nuclear weapons and cities and have space travel. Like it would be so hard to restart to do that. So to me, the technology, like you said, Dr. Stone type situation, we'd have to completely wipe out everything.
So let's make it, how would this work though? Let's say we take, because for example, if we wanted to populate Mars now, just pretend Mars was habitable, we're not sending 6 billion humans, right? We're sending like pods with like hundreds of piece to different places and letting them start populating. So let's say that happens. Pods with a couple hundred people with knowledge of basic architecture, knowledge of things like basic architecture, fire hunting,
resources,
stuff like that. Yeah, so you get a population of people across the world. You lose the pods we came here in, but that could explain why we didn't just rebuild Mars. We wanted to start over, not lead to the same mistakes that led us to ruin Mars. If you phrase it like that, I actually like it more.
I like how you just said that too.
Yeah, I actually like it more.
So Joe Rogan is actually the person I heard this theory from, and it's from how he explained it. I think this is one that he liked and he believed as well. And he said that if it made it more believable to think Mars was completely different than planet Earth.
Yeah.
See, but every evidence we have is that Mars was Earth before Earth started to change. So that's difficult for me to like. Mars used to have oceans and large bodies of water before it changed. Like it used to have.
Well, look how much our climate here changes, and I don't know. So maybe things like pollution and the way that we treat our planet and everything that we do to it. What if over time we're eventually going to burn everything out here too?
Yeah, because like you got to remember, one of the things we use are resources that aren't renewable, like oil. Like it's perceivable we reach a point where there's no more oil, right? So I don't think somebody coming 6 million years later will be able to see that we used oil at one point. They'll just figure we powered shit somehow. You know what I mean? So like fossil fuels and stuff like that, like if we're going to say Mars did have everything, or we did start on Mars, then you can put this together in a way that makes sense, that we came here, started over, built things our way, stuff like that. That would explain why what I like most about this though is like how humans would have evolved differently coming to Mars or coming here from Mars. That's what I think of.
Yeah, no, this one's interesting in those ways. When you kind of phrase it in that way, I'm more into it.
Because also to make this true, well, part of it is that, like xenon that they found there, which is found after a nuclear explosion, if that did happen from like warfare or something, there would only be the people coming over to Earth that survived all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't be like everyone from Mars just came over to Earth. They were, and they would probably be scattered, like Kadeem said. They wouldn't all be in one spot. They would be starting over everywhere.
Like the way I'm seeing it in my head, Jenna, have you ever seen Man of Steel, the Superman movie? Like the point of it is that Superman's dad puts him in a rocket. Like he knows everybody on Krypton is gonna die, but he puts Superman in the rocket. Like it just sends him to Earth. Like you have the hope of our people. And that's what I'm thinking. Like if Mars has some super huge nuclear reactor that's gonna go, and they're like, we can't get everybody off. Send the groups we can. Our race survives. Do better than we did. I'm with that. I can set it up in a way that I like it more.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's not. You guys have swung me a little bit more. I'm open to life maybe starting on Mars.
Would there be things like such as fossils and like any kind of evidence at Mars to maybe prove this theory one day if we were to go to Mars?
I mean, we find fossils on Mars, then that's going to be a pretty huge fucking deal. Unless we find a humanoid skull.
That would be the most important. Yeah, that would be the most important find in history of humanity. So, I mean, Elon's trying to go to Mars, so hopefully he gets there.
Maybe he's on to something.
Now that would be the big, because at that point the question isn't just at that point the question is where else would we have went?
Yeah.
Did we put all our baskets?
Where did the technology go?
Like, did we put all our eggs into just Earth, or did we
go
expand further than that?
Yeah, is there a galactic federation of people out there, and Earth is just the worst planet of them? Like, how is it? That would, yes. So to answer your question, yes, we find something on Mars that looks even relatively human, and that's the biggest deal anybody can ever imagine.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Jenna, do you have anything else for us? Do you have any other fun, quick ones that you have left that you want to talk about, or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not that I have a lot of information on to explain them.
I have a question for you, Jenna. Just because I've asked Doug these throughout the time, and with you being a conspiracy theorist, I'm just going to ask you. Some of these are more spooky than conspiracy. Just yes or no, do you believe these things? Ghosts?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Like 100% yes.
Okay. For ghosts. Is it like...
So like spirits, or like just in general spirits?
I'm sorry, because I did this with my fiance. For ghosts, is it like you believe that people stick around when they die? Do you believe that ghosts can hurt you? Do you believe like they can take over people's bodies, or it just depends on the circumstance?
I believe in like more of the spirit of your body sticking around more than like a ghost figure, per se.
Okay, so like you think
like you can have a ghost in your room and might not even have a shape or anything, but it's a spirit,
Okay, so like you think Ouija boards are legit, or can be?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
No.
No, I'm not judging. I'm literally asking.
I just think Ouija boards are very convenient.
Here's the thing. I really want to know, because I know how you think. I want to know where Jenna is with this. Don't let him shame you. If you mess with Ouija boards, mess with Ouija boards. Let's hear it.
Well, I've never like messed around with one, so I've never really had any experiences to like reference off of it. But I guess I've seen things happen with them.
To be fair,
I feel like that's more like magic almost.
I don't believe that they work, but I'm not the kind of person who's going to test it.
Boom. See if they work. There we go.
Yeah.
So to support you, I don't believe they work, but I'm never going to try to see if they work, because I don't want any fucked up stuff happening.
Here's the thing. Horror movie logic says that one of you is more likely to try the Ouija board. I'm just trying to figure out which one it is. If we're going horror movie logic, one of you is more likely to try it, and I'm the one that's going to suffer for it.
See, I would try it.
There we go.
It'd be really cool to try it.
There we go. Make sure I'm out of the state. What about psychics?
Yeah.
I both mean people who can like see the future, and people who can say like they can contact the dead or reach out to the other side.
I think I'm here for it.
Okay, both of them?
Yeah.
Would you ever call a psychic if you were having hard times in your life, like to get like your palms read or your energy read or something like that?
So I have to say yes, because I did this last time. we had a girls' day at Brittany's house, Brittany Redkey, and she had someone there like doing readings.
Oh.
And she did know, like, she did say some things that she wouldn't know about any of us that she ended up finding out that day. So it was an experience. It was pretty creepy.
Okay. And my last one, things like cryptids, like Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster. Are you here for any of that stuff? Or does you can say it depends on which one.
I guess it does depend on which one. Some of them are a little far out there.
Okay.
Well, tell us which ones you're into.
Yeah, is there one in particular you like?
Well, I like the giants. Like, I mean, some people say that there's still like random giants like that have been seen. I kind of like that one. Bigfoot.
You mean like giants like the Sasquatch, those kind of giants, or like giants when we talk about building the pyramids giants?
So they're like recently this guy took a video of like on this giant on a mountain. Have you heard about this?
I thought they said that was Sasquatch.
No, keep going. I want to hear it.
He just it was like he was driving, mountains were on the side, and he got out of his car and started recording to what he thought was a giant, posted it online, kind of, told a story with it. And he then like posted a confession video about how what he saw was fake. The video was taken down like prior to that. He then died. Like if you search his name, he is a dead person. So people say that he was forced to say that he didn't see what he saw, or he didn't actually see that, and that he was then killed for seeing that.
So like, here's
you lose me every time. You lose me. You had me in the first half, and then he randomly died.
Well, here's my thing.
The government, I guess, reached out to him, made him post this video. He then was supposedly killed. That's the theory.
Like, I guess. So, like, y'all want to know the weird thing about cryptids? Like, I don't believe any of the shit that we say is here, but it seems like you see, like, some people, like, if you went to, like, Denmark or something. Okay, for example, if I went into your backyard, Doug, and you were like, yeah, don't go into the woods. There's like a monster in there. I'm like, that's stupid. If I went to Denmark and somebody said, don't go into the woods, there's a troll in there, I kind of be like, okay, well, I kind of don't want to fuck with that because I don't know what could be going on. I don't know why I'm more likely. I like it more when it's not in America. I feel like America's just too kind of.
That was my whole point with the first thing on the moon. It always is America because we're all very self-centered.
Was this in America? You just said a giant. Was this supposed to be here, or was this somewhere on the planet?
The guy was speaking English, wasn't he?
I think it was somewhere in America.
Also, here's the thing: we're gonna see more American theories because we live here, dude.
Where's Loch Ness at? Where's Lake Loch Ness?
That's in Scotland.
Should your next episode be about theories in other countries?
Yeah, we'll do urban legends in around the world.
That'll be good. That'll be a good one.
That'll be the next
one. But my thing is, like, it's all very conveniently in America.
Because we live here.
When was the last time Canada's right next to us? When was the last time Canada had shit go crazy? It just doesn't happen.
I think Canada has like a shit ton of. I could be wrong. I thought Canada had a bunch of abductions that people think are aliens.
Those are just big mooses.
Abductions?
Yeah, just scooping people up in their antlers and just. Have you ever watched a moose run? Now that I brought it up, fucking terrifying.
I just know they're really big.
They're bigger than a car, and they're just bolting through the snow. It's a problem.
Yeah,
it's a problem. Okay, You lost me when the guy died. I was on.
Well, it happened. It really did happen. That's not part of the theory. That's just a fact about him.
I just feel like we stopped killing people for posting stupid stuff on the internet a long time ago.
I mean, if I'm defending this, some guy, basically making somebody post it was fake at gunpoint and then just shooting so he can never say any differently, doesn't sound impossible.
Okay. I mean, I'm in on Sasquatch potentially being real, so whatever. I'm in. Count me in.
Okay. All right. Well, and the last one, demons.
Are you going to give her your counterpoint to demons like you did with me?
What's my counterpoint to demons?
Go ahead and tell them if you believe in it, Jen, and then I'll.
I think I have to believe in demons if I believe in spirits. It's kind of, like.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But your counter to me believing in or not believing in that stuff was, why wouldn't John Wayne Gacy just keep fucking people? Just
yeah, I forgot.
Like, have you ever thought about
spirits? Yeah,
until you brought up like that people like bad people would just keep
being horrible,
even if they were like if they could touch you. Like that doesn't happen. We don't get killed by spirit. Like that happens in movies. It doesn't happen in person. You never know. How many people have tripped down the stairs that were pushed?
Yeah, you're right.
But Jenna, what do you think about that? What do you think about evil people in real life dying and their ghosts is just hacking people away?
I don't think a spirit could physically hurt you.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
Well, Jenna, you have been a fantastic first guest for us. Is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
The guy that died, who saw the giant on the mountain, his name is Andrew Dawson. So you guys should look it up.
Justice for Andrew Dawson.
I'm gonna hashtag that on
Twitter. We appreciate you coming on here so much, and appreciate you listening to us ramble every week. Doug, do you have anything else for us?
Yeah, I'm just a second. I'm reading his obituary.
Oh my God, he's gonna be so disrespectful.
Okay, no, I'm good. Jenna, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for giving us your theories. Thank you for hanging out, talking with us. To both of you guys, I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Hope you guys enjoy the day with your families. Do all that fun stuff. Eat a bunch of food. And then shout out to the audience. Thank you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate that. If you don't, sorry. Other than that, we will see you guys next week with theories from around the world instead of this small place called America where we always seem to get all of our information. But yeah, can you take us away?
All right. Well, everybody have a good one. We'll check in with you next week.